Hey guys, welcome back to A Little Less Lisa. If you are new here, my name is Lisa, and this channel is all about my health, wellness, fitness, and weight loss maintenance journey. I have recently lost over 50 pounds with the help of a GLP-1 medication, and I'm here sharing all of my tips, tricks, how I'm doing, check-in videos, all those kind of things. So if that sounds like interesting content to you, I would love to see you back here. Click the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you know every time I upload videos. Well, obviously, I am in a different setting than normal. And no, this is not a backdrop. I realize I'm very centered between these two pillars, and it almost looks like maybe like I have a background on, but no, I'm not. I don't. I'm actually in Florida. My husband had some work meetings down here, and at the very last minute, I was like, hey, what if I come with? So I thought it might be good in healing and, maybe get a little sun, just get some warmth away from the New York winter. And so here we are. And as you can see, it is a lovely day out, and I thought I would film outside. So today's video are all about the things I didn't expect after losing 50 plus pounds. So let's get into those. All right, so the first several of them are kind of body related, like things that changed on my body that just I didn't think about. I guess I just didn't expect. Obviously, that's the title of this video. So anyway, the first one has to do with my spine. Now, we take the subway a lot in New York, and the seats that you sit in on subways are, hard plastic, manufactured seats, whatever they are. And every time I go and lean back on a subway chair, or for that matter, any hard chair, my spine, it just that is the first thing that hits the chair is my spine. I guess you don't realize how much fat you have covering your spine. I mean, when you think about body parts, and I think that's, sort of going to be the theme for the next couple of these ones that I'm going to talk about, is when you think about fat and, where you want to lose fat when you're losing weight. You think about your thighs, you think about your stomach, you think about your waist, you probably think of your arms, some people think of their chest, whatever. Never did I think, I really need to lose weight in my spine or in my back for that matter. Ooh, I think we're about to get a boat here. Hold, please. Okay. So anyway, yeah, it just, and I obviously, as I've mentioned on my channel multiple times, I lost a significant amount of weight back in around 2006? I think that's right. Yeah. And maintained that for about 13 or so, 14 years. But I didn't lose as much. I weigh less now. That's how I want to say that. I weigh less now than I did then. And I guess I just didn't think that amount of weight, being the weight I'm at, that I would just feel things that are really so different. So there's number one. Now, number two, I actually, now that I think about it, and having just mentioned losing a significant amount of weight previously, I do actually remember this one now that I'm thinking about it. I just hadn't thought about it prior to this. And that is that I also feel my tailbone a lot more. So again, when I sit down on the subway seat, on the bench or whatever, that's the first thing that hits, and I feel that. I even feel it when I'm driving a car. Now, granted, we don't own a car anymore, but when we rent a car and when I've sat in the seat driving or whatever, I feel my tailbone then. I felt it, flying on an airplane. I don't know that I feel it that much sitting on the couch or something. I don't necessarily feel it on this chair that I'm sitting on right now, which is a very cushioned, padded chair. So I guess maybe it has to do with the amount of cushioning that's underneath my tush at the time I sit down. But yeah, subway seat, first thing that hits is the tailbone, and then I lean back, and then my spine hits. So the next one is one that kind of goes along with my other channel, which is more luxury fashion focused. And I remember watching other creators talking about their handbags and discussing the, let's say, a chain strap and whether or not it was comfortable crossbody. Did it hurt? Did it dig into their shoulder or their collarbone or something like that? And I remember watching those videos and thinking, what? Like, why would you even think that? I mean, that's a thing? I mean, I'd never, even again at a lower weight, I never had any issue wearing a chain strap bag crossbody and having it be uncomfortable. Well, now I know what those people were talking about, because if I wear a chain strap bag that doesn't have like a leather break at the top, so the part that actually like sits across your shoulder, if that doesn't have a leather break on it, if it's just a solid chain, oh my gosh, it hurts, and I really have to be careful. And then the other thing I've noticed, this is sort of a little tangent and I guess a little extra, is that I've noticed that crossbody bags that have an adjustment on the strap, generally that's on the back of the bag, where I have it on my body is on my back, right? You don't want to see a buckle or whatever on the front of the bag. So it's normally on the back. And I've noticed that starts digging into my back. So yeah, I guess a whole thing with, wearing crossbody bags and how they feel different now on my new body. I'm guessing that some of you are going to relate to this one. And again, I really don't remember this being this way when I lost weight before, but it's definitely a thing now. And that is that my armpits are literally pits. They are like a cavern, actually. They are so concave, is that right? I mean, my armpit before used to be like flat. When I put on deodorant, it was, it would have been just like, rubbing it on like that. Or I'll do it this way, like this, no problem. Now, it's like this. I gotta like dig in there to get my deodorant on. I can't wear deodorant right now because of the scars and the sutures, incisions in my armpit. And actually, they told me that oftentimes because of where they're cutting, that he ends up cutting the sweat glands actually. And so a lot of people like don't even sweat after they've had the surgery that I had. And so maybe I won't even need deodorant going forward. But let me tell you, you have to be very intentional about putting your deodorant on, especially if it's like a stick deodorant as opposed to a spray. That you're really getting in there, and you get like I said, dig in there, dig deep. Another physical change, my feet shrunk. Now, I never thought that my feet were particularly chunky or wide. I mean, I definitely had wider calves. I was definitely one of those people that if I was going to try to wear a knee-high boot or something, they better have, a wide calf version, or, because the regular one was certainly not going to fit my calf. But my foot was always sort of an average size. I really didn't think that when I lost weight that it would cause my shoe size to go down, but it definitely has. I would say probably 3/4 of the shoes in my closet right now are too big, especially slingbacks. Tennis shoes I can generally make work because obviously I can tie those tighter, that kind of thing. But loafers, slip-ons, mules, even slingbacks, all way too big. They just sort of fly off my foot. And yeah, so unfortunately, I will be replacing some shoes in my wardrobe. I certainly won't replace them all. And some, I can make work a little bit. I hopefully can tighten a strap or something, and maybe that will help make them work. But yeah, that one I just really did not expect. The next one I have now taken care of, and that is that I did not expect to think that my breasts were too big after I lost weight. Again, I think it's the difference between the weight I was prior after losing a lot of weight versus now, because I'm at a lower weight, where they just looked ridiculous on me. I mean, obviously this is my own opinion and judgment. Now I'm completely flat-chested, which was to be expected. So, we'll probably do something to mitigate that situation at some point. But, I mean, they were just there. I mean, if you looked at me from the side, it was like, this narrow body and then these big, giant boobs. So, and I've explained on some of my other videos about the skin removal surgery and the breast lift and everything that I just had done, that when I got those implants, I was at it depends on, I guess, what your definition of significant is, but I was probably a good 35 or so pounds heavier than I am now when I got those. So, it makes sense, right? My body frame definitely looked different when I got the implants put in than what I look like now. This next one I've done a whole video on, but I certainly wanted to mention it here, and that is losing my hair. So as many of you know, if you missed that video, I will link it up above in the cards and down in the description box. But I experienced significant hair loss for about 3 months, starting about 3 months or so into my journey. I think it was around July or so, and I started at the very end of March. So, kind of April, May, June were the first 3 months. And like I said, July hit, and it was literally coming out in handfuls. I mean, first of all, I would take a shower, and I mean, clumps were covering the drain. Then I would get out of the shower and brush my hair. I lightly, get some of the water out of it, and I'd go to brush it. And I mean, just like I said, handfuls would come out when I brushed it. It was really, really alarming. Now, I really don't remember losing my hair when I had that significant weight loss before. But I also think I lost that at a definitely a slower pace. It took me probably a good, I would say, 11 months or so to lose 85 pounds. I lost quite a bit in those first few months, but then it slowed down significantly, and I think it was just less of a shock on my body than the rate at which I lost now. So the last physical one is how much of a difference in my ring size there has been. So as many of you know, David and I, my husband and I, are going to be renewing our wedding vows, and one of the things that we did in preparation for that was get me a new engagement ring, because the ring that I had before, and this one is actually too big, I've got a little thing on it right now because I need to have it sized, but I want to wait until summer to see how big it is when my fingers swell. Because in the winter, it's always going to be smaller, and I don't want to size it to whatever that size is now, and then get to the summer and have it be too tight. So we're going to wait. I just put the little sizer thing on it. That pretty much helps, although honestly, I could almost shake this off in my hand now too. But my point is, the other one that I had, I mean, literally, I would just go like that and the thing would fly across the room. And I mean, that's a significant difference. Again, I didn't ever feel like I was buying rings in a much larger size or anything like that. I mean, for example, this ring, my Just un Clou ring from Cartier, I used to wear on my ring finger, and at some point it was maybe a little tight. I think it's in a size 53, and so now I just move it over and I can wear it, on either one of these fingers. I tend to wear it on this middle finger, so it's great. I don't, because they can't size it, but it works perfectly on this finger, and I'm good with that. But yeah, I just really didn't think that it would change as much as it did. I guess I knew that it would change, but not so much that, for example, a ring that fit on this, because these fingers are significantly bigger than my ring finger. For example, I think this finger used to be a size 6, and I had to wear like a size 8 on these two fingers. So I just didn't think that losing weight would cause my ring fingers to get that much smaller. All right, so we're done with the sort of body affecting ones. Let me know in the comments below if this one rings true with any of you. And that is feeling comfortable drying my clothes in the dryer. What do I mean by that? There were lots of times when I was heavier, especially if I was sort of in between sizes and probably should have been sizing up in my jeans, for example. But, you know, we all hate to see whatever the number is on the back of the jeans, even though it literally means nothing. And so I would not want to put those things in the dryer because the fear of them shrinking. And, you know, amongst many other pieces of clothing, it wasn't just jeans. Pretty much anything that I was concerned at all, either that it might shrink or even just shrinking back to the size that it was originally, right? Because a lot of things, as you wear them, you know, they stretch out and they become more comfortable, but then when you wash them and dry them, they go back to that, like I said, sort of original size. So I hung my clothes up to dry instead of putting them in the dryer for years. As I said, just about anything that I thought there might be even a tiny chance of it shrinking did not go in the dryer. It was, you know, put on hangers or, you know, slung over the back of a chair or something to air dry. So let me know in the comments below if that is one that any of you can relate to. And I love the fact now that other than active wear, I mean, first of all, I guess if it says, you know, lay flat to dry, then obviously I'll lay flat to dry. But if it's something that normally can go in the in the dryer, I don't even think twice about it. The only thing basically that I hang dry now is active wear, because the lycra, the spandex, breaks down more quickly when you dry it. So those, you know, leggings and things like that, workout bras, I will hang dry. But other than that, yeah, if it's okay to go in the dryer, that sucker goes right in. This next one was going to be my last one, but I actually just thought of something, and it was as a result of my surgery, so I'll leave that one to last. But I guess the second to last one then is the fact that I really enjoy getting dressed every day. Again, let me know in the comments below if this is something that you can relate to, if you've, you know, lost some, you know, whatever amount of weight and you're feeling better about yourself. I just find myself wanting to get dressed. Whereas before, I would have been happy to stay in my pajamas practically all day, or in, you know, sweats, joggers, and a hoodie or something. And now, even though I work from home, and to be perfectly honest with you, I have very few calls or meetings that I'm on where I have to be on camera. So it's not like I have to get dressed because I've got all these, you know, Zoom or Teams meetings where I'm on camera and I need to look presentable. No, it's just that I feel good about the way I look and how clothes look on me. And so I want to get dressed. I want to, you know, put on an actual outfit and look cute and take my outfit of the day picture in my mirror. And it really, I think, changes your perspective on the day when you get dressed. I really think it does have an impact on how your day goes, or, as I said, your perspective on your day. It's sort of like, I think some people talk about making their bed and how that just sets them off on a positive note for the day. It's like, you know, I made my bed and everything's tidy, and so it's a good start to my day. That's kind of how I feel about getting dressed. So let me know if that one resonates with you at all in the comments. Okay, so the last one, and I guess sort of a bonus one, because I said I just thought of it as I was sitting here, and I realized it after having surgery. It's been exactly 2 weeks now since I had my surgery. And what's interesting is they don't weigh you, or at least they didn't weigh me. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the OR tables now have a sensor on them, so maybe they weigh you then. But anyway, as they were doing my pre-op evaluation thing in the hospital, everybody comes and they, what's your date of birth? And they check your, your wristband and make sure it matches, and your name, and, ask you the bazillion questions. Are you allergic to anything? And all those things. And at some point, one of the nurses, I think, said, asked me how tall I was. And then she asked me how much I weighed. And my husband was sitting right there. I don't really know what I would have done if I had to have had surgery at the weight I was at before I started this journey. I don't know how I would have answered that question. I might have actually said, David, can you step out of the room for a minute? And first of all, that's really sad. But I have a feeling that a lot of you will relate to this too. I have a feeling that a lot of us never would speak our weight in front of our spouse. I would weigh myself with the door closed, and I would never have shared my weight with David before. So she asked me, and I just answered. And that, I'm not sure I've ever said my weight out loud in front of David in the 32 years of marriage that we've had, plus the 3 that we were together before we got married. So in 35 years, I'm not sure that I have ever told him how much I weigh. That's a big one. I guess that was a good one to leave for last then. Like I said, it just sort of came to me as I was thinking about something else on this list, and I realized that happened. And I mean, obviously I consciously didn't tell him, right? I mean, it was a conscious decision to not tell him my weight and to keep it from him and to hide it from him and all of those things. I mean, even after I had lost a significant amount of weight before, I didn't share my weight with him. So yeah, that was actually pretty cool. The fact that I felt comfortable saying my weight in front of him. So that is it, guys. Those are the, I think, 11 things that I did not expect after losing 50 plus pounds. Certainly let me know in the comments below about some of the things I asked, and also let me know, what is one thing that you didn't expect to happen after losing weight? I would love to hear what some of your surprising little things were. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. It does help the algorithm. And as I said in the beginning of the video, if you enjoy this kind of content, I would love to see you back here. Click the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you will know every time I upload a video. If you would like to keep on watching, there'll be another video over in the corner here for you to watch. And remember, kindness and hate spread the same. The choice is yours. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.